Do you like rewards? Guess what? Kids do too. In this video, I'll share some ideas that you can use to reward your students so that they're encouraged to keep making good choices. Let's dive in. There are two ways that you can reward your students, individually and as a group. We'll focus on individual reward systems in this video. Rewarding kids individually is great for encouraging kids to take responsibility for their own behavior. Whenever a child does something good, he can earn a reward or a point from his small group leader. It doesn't matter what the other kids are doing. If he makes good choices, then he gets points. This makes the class a more positive place since the kids feel like they have the opportunity to win at something. Also, kids typically need tangible and immediate feedback for their behavior. The point system is a good way to do that, especially if you're working with younger ages. Here's a pro tip. Use points to encourage obedience by publicly naming and rewarding good behavior. For example, imagine this. You're trying to get your kids to line up, but most of them are distracted and doing their own thing. Instead of yelling at them to line up, you focus on the one or two kids who are listening and you start praising and rewarding them for lining up. You make a big deal of it and thank them for being obedient. Pretty soon, all of the other kids run over to line up because they see what's happening and they also want the praise and rewards. As the saying goes, you catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. So, how do you give points to your students? First off, you'll need a way to keep track of the points you give out. You can be pretty creative with this. It just depends on what materials are available to your team so that everyone is using the same system. You'll want to have something that helps the kids accumulate points over many weeks because sometime in the future, they will need to count up their points to purchase prizes. Here's an idea. Use cardstock name tags to keep track of points with star punches. Once the kids arrive, they'll be given their name tags to wear during the class time. Each small group leader should carry a star punch so they can punch stars into the name tags whenever the kids earn a point. There's a link in the description if you want to order star punches. This is one of our favorite methods because it's pretty convenient. The kids don't have to hold on to it or pull it out of their pockets to receive points. However, it does take a little bit of time to print, laminate, and string all of them beforehand. Another idea is to give every student a little booklet for collecting stickers or stamps, like this. When you add a point to the booklet, make rows of 5 to make counting easier later on. Also, make sure that everyone writes their name on it so that there's no confusion. The kids will have to hold on to their booklets throughout the class time so that their small group leaders can give them points right when they earn one. At the end of the class time, they can return them to their leader for safekeeping. Another idea is to use something like this. I like to call it cash points. This takes less prep than the previous ideas because you can just print and cut out the cash and distribute it to the small group leaders. They'll give them to the kids as they earn points, and the kids can keep them in their pockets or maybe you can give them special wallets. There's a link below if you want to download and print these out. Here's a final idea. Remember how I said you can be really creative with points? If you have a smaller class size, you could try this. When kids behave well, they earn rubber bands as points. And when prize day comes, they can take turns shooting the rubber bands at balloons that have different rewards written on them. The big rewards can be placed further back while the smaller rewards are closer. Then the kids get to claim whatever they hit. No matter what method you decide to use, make sure that all the teachers are on the same page about how many points can be given out in a day. Otherwise, some teams may have kids earning 5 points a day while others are earning 20. For example, you could place a limit of 10 points per day. Kids get 1 for coming, 1 for bringing a Bible, 1 for reciting last week's memory verse, 2 total for good behavior in small group, 2 total for good behavior in large group, and 3 more according to the teacher's discretion. For instance, if a child is being a good helper, is kind to others, shares something, they volunteer to be the last one to go, or they win the review game, etc., that will encourage them to go above and beyond just following the rules. Finally, let's talk about prize day. At the end of a period of time, like a semester, you can have a prize day where the kids use their points to buy prizes. Small prizes like pencils or bouncy balls would cost fewer points, while larger prizes like a soccer ball will cost more. You can also include snacks and drinks as prizes too. You just have to set it all up on tables and label them accordingly. I suggest you have multiple people run the price tables to keep things moving. Once it's ready, let the small group take turns shopping at the price tables. Let older kids go first and work your way down to the younger kids, since the older ones tend to be pickier about what's available. Depending on which method you use to track points, there are different ways to let the kids spend the points. When we use the Star Punch system, we like to count up everyone's points, convert them into tokens, and write the amounts on a roster before prize day. For example, 5 points or Star Punches equals 1 token represented by a glass gem. When a child arrives at the prize table, we check the roster and give him the number of tokens that he's earned. He can pick out which prizes he wants and hand in the tokens to a teacher. And by the end, everyone should have spent all their tokens and they'll start with a fresh name tag next semester. If you're using the stamp or sticker booklet, the students have the option to spend what they want on prize day or to save up their points over multiple semesters for really big prizes like a dollhouse or a science kit. When they buy something, just cross out the points with the Sharpie so you know what's been spent. If the booklet is running out of space, you could issue them a new booklet and just sign off on how many unspent points were transferred to the new one. The cash points can be treated just like cash, and the kids will turn in however many they're spending. If they're not too beat up, you can reuse these cash points so you don't have to print out a whole lot more next semester. Now, of course, all of these ideas are just suggestions to get you started. Feel free to adjust any part to suit your needs. The main objective is to make your ministry a positive place to be by rewarding kids for making good choices and praising their growth and good character. Thanks for watching!